So far, and we start off at Windley. You remember these two, what, 2 or 3 years ago, I think at the MCG. Well, Dermy was back yesterday, and Stephen Newport knew all about it. Hilton's first match, Harvey handball to Hilton. First match for St Kilda. Collins tries desperately, unable to get back. Number of tough knocks at the MCG. Quickly, did they? What's up?
No, not any trouble, Bruce. Just to those commissioners and the directors of the AFL and the ones who are doing the marketing. For those that represented Victoria with honour, and the jumper that they got was probably the only recompense that they ever got, to see them being sold at...
Don't you remember? Ron, you're not that old, are you?
Actually, I found it quite hard to give the votes, as in a lot of very, very valuable players just missed out. But I did give one to Stuart Lowe. I thought his marking, it's gotten back almost to last year's form over the last 2 or 3 weeks. He played very well. Rice was great. Burke, another terrific player, had given special jobs by their coach, and they, in concert with other St Kilda players, had given tagging jobs and stopping jobs, did them absolutely tremendously. Probably the difference between the two sides was Lockett, even though I thought Langers did a terrific job at fullback on him, probably beat him in man-to-man duels a lot of the time, yet he still got 7 goals, and they really missed Dunstall at the moment. We've got the coach here, we'll talk to him later, but they started off with a merry-go-round at full forward, Hawthorn, but really didn't have anyone there to succeed all day.
Well, I noticed they had a lot of scoring shots in the first half, Hawthorn. What, they just didn't capitalise? Did they have most of the play right?
They're a little bit, no, not most of the play, but more of the play. They definitely had shots at goal they normally would have gotten. A little bit unlucky there, but when you look at the second half, you'll see that St Kilda outscored Hawthorn by 5 goals. It was a fine effort to do that.
Barres, in the highlights I heard Bruce say that it was a surprise or an upset that St Kilda won. Isn't it about time that we started to consider St Kilda as a possible top 3 contender and therefore a serious threat for the flag? Well,
when you earn a reputation, be it good or bad, it takes a while to get rid of it, to change that reputation, and this is what St Kilda have earned their reputation by being poor performance, particularly when the pressure's been applied, and they must win certain matches over a much longer period than we're talking about before people trust them. That's why they went in come home as surprise winners, but they are quite a gifted team, and they with discipline and experience and maturity will develop into a very, very good footy side.
In the week before, when the big game was on against Eston, they started very slowly, or they overawed. Was it the same yesterday? Or were they just outplayed in the first bit?
Oh, no, they weren't outplayed by very much at all. I thought they opened up. They didn't open up nervously, I don't think.
OK, Ron, we've got Allan Joyce with us from Hawthorn. Thanks for coming in, Alan. How does a coach feel on a Sunday morning when he's beaten in a big game like that?
Well, it's obviously disappointing. I think we, in the last month particularly, we've overcome Carlton, Essendon and Collingwood, and we were fairly confident yesterday, and I thought the players over the last month have matured, have got together. We got off to a bad start against Adelaide particularly, and but St Kilda, to their credit yesterday, played very well and showed, as Ron said, they've matured as a side, and they've got, particularly up the centre of the ground, they've got some very good players in Lowe and Lockett, and they were probably the difference at the end of the game yesterday.
Alan, it's the same for all the coaches, but is it disruptive having a state of origin?
Look at his great little winger, Chris Mayne, wearing beautiful mark over the top of Murphy and one grab.
Second one here is Barry Young from Richmond. A nice clean grab after a nice ride as well.
Darren Bennett didn't have a great day yesterday out there at Windy Hill, but this was a top mark coming from the side of the pack. Shades of Royce Hart at his best.
The next goal here, Billy Brownless, good bodywork here and control with his right hand. It's controlled all the way. Bit of class.
This is a great mark coming up to the West Coast full forward, Peter Sumich. Have a look at this one. He actually almost marks this on his shoulder. As you see, he leaps in the pack, up high and clutches a top mark.
And the young fella here, Ashley McIntosh, comes from behind the goal line. Blonde hair, just seen at the last minute, a fine grab for a young fella. Very confident, mate.
And another full forward, Jeffrey Hogg, who's a clever player. Look at this, a juggling one-handed mark against Michael Brennan. Good effort.
Brett Ellison here gets up just a little bit off the ground and takes a nice mark.
And finally, Chris Langford apparently played very well yesterday against Tony Lockett. And this is over the top of Stewie Lowe. A very, very good mark by Chris Langford. But no doubt about it, Roscoe, the old North Melbourne colours, and these blokes think we're going to go for Langford here. Look at Robbo.
It was a good mark, though.
It was a top mark, Langford. But actually, Robbo, you'll be happy.
Well, you didn't have the convincing, but Brett Ellison, it was a very, very fine mark. We went for Brett
Ellison.
Yes, it was a great mark. On replay here, and he gets so high in the air and controlled, up early, high, down. I think that's a fantastic
He
mark.
popped out of the monitor, didn't he?
Good on you, Brett. And well done, Peter and Ross. We had the wildest argument during the last commercial break that we've ever had between the panel
These
because they
blokes
said
have got
Allison
no idea, Bruce, honestly.
Perth tricked that one, Ross. We take a break, back with more after this.
And the goal of the year are brought to you by BP. BP, on the move.
Yes, out to Windy Hill, and we see Ricky Jackson positioning himself well for a handball and a smart conversion.
And this goal kicked by Paul Couch was reminiscent of Tuesday night's state game. On the run, outside 50 metres, and a lovely long drop punt kick by Couch.
It's a thumping kick, that one, but we see young Michael Mansfield fights very hard, gets in underneath it, gathers possession and takes it upon himself and snaps over the shoulder there and favours the leg break, I fancy, and a bit of luck there, but it rolls through.
And the immense skill of Bruce Lindner on show here. Little look at that lovely sidestep, bit of time to size it up and put it straight through the centre.
And he's kicked a great goal for Adelaide. Currently gets rid of it.
Out of VFL Park, Heady gets it back to Chris Lewis and casually nearly evades his opponent, but a smart goal from tight angle out of VFL Park.
Next goal kicked by a player who's resurrected his career to a certain extent, Andrew Underwood. And got a lot of ability, Andrew Underwood. Bit stiff at Essendon with injuries, but this is a good kick.
And still at the same game, we see the mighty Flea here and Dale Waitman in front again, where all smart rovers should be. And like he usually does, puts it right through.
And good play here by Matera to sum up the situation, pinch the ball and kick a very good goal for the Eagles.
And here's a player that just oozes talent, that's Darren Jarman. And a flair once again showed in his play here as he evades a couple of players. And he puts it through with great ease in the end. He's a great player.
And all the people who took the long odds about Tony Lockett winning the goal kicking, they'd be pleased to see this one. He's up to about 46 now.
And this, of course, before Peter left the scene at the MCG, just before half-time, a great individual effort from well out, 50 metres out. Kicked a couple like that, but that was a top goal.
And you're the expert.
Well, yes, I probably am, and unfortunately, Ronald McDonald wasn't amongst them. I might have given it to him, but I went for Bruce Lindner in the end. I think there was a lot of goals in a similar vein, but I went for Bruce Lindner, the ex-Cat, and it's a one-out duel here with Ken Hinkley, but uses his body very well and fairly, and balances himself, evades Andrew Buse, which isn't easily done, but steadies himself, and a thumping kick from that half-forward line. It was a good goal from Bruce Lindner, and probably the only thing the Crows could crow about on the day.
So the Prez get some money there. Sumich 47, those odds for Lockett about 33s a few weeks ago. Take about 2s on, I reckon, now. His match ratio is not bad, is it? 45 out of 5. Then Longmire doing well with 42, getting a wriggle on. Hogg 38, Brownless still there, 37, Bennett. And Dunstall's getting out to the odds that Lockett might have been because of his injury, unfortunately. So that's an interesting situation, the goal kickers. Bobby, Sydney-Brisbane today?